Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we're going to be talking about some agent mining.
Agents are still cool, dude.
I heard.
Can you believe it?
I can, actually.
Well, yeah, I guess that's good news for all.
I use it every day,
Yes.
all day.
So AI confirmed, not a bubble, right? Especially after this morning's breakthrough announcement that somebody has claimed the solo man billion-dollar company title that Sam Altman, I guess, put forth out into the zeitgeist a couple years ago, right? Is that a couple years ago? I think so. I think it was like a 2024 interview where he made this prediction, right? It's like,
Yeah.
someday someone out there is going to build $1 billion enterprise using only AI.
Yeah, yeah.
And then people thought Peter Steinberg was that guy for a minute.
It's close, but not really.
Yeah, he didn't really earn any revenue.
True.
So these guys, or this guy and his brother, they generated some revenue, right? So
Matthew Gallagher here. He said he spent $20,000 in more than in dozen artificial intelligence tools.
I mean,
So
that
in
sounds
2
about
months.
right. A dozen? I mean, we use probably
Yeah, I don't know about 20,000 in 2 months, dude.
no.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
to
so.
get off the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. 20,000 sounds like a lot.
Well, okay. Well, what was he doing? Depends on what the business is.
So this was at his house. He's 41 years old, and his startup Medvy,
Medvy, yeah.
a telehealth provider of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, got 300 customers in the first month. In the second month, it got 1,000 more. And then in 2025, Medvy's first full year of business has generated $401 million in sales.
Lord.
And then Mr. Gallagher then hired his only employee, his younger brother. This year, they're on track to generate $1.8 billion in sales.
Double Lord, dude. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. So what are GLP-1s? I think they're those little devices you stick into your belly to help you lose weight.
It's like a syringe.
No. It's like a tiny, like almost like a micro needle. Like,
is it several micro needles?
I don't think so. I
So
think it's just like a little prick. It's like, you stick it in there, you like pinch a little piece of your fat, and then you put the little syringe, well, not this, whatever, the device into the fat. You push the little lever, and then it's like and then it deploys the substance inside your veins. And before you know it, you want to puke your guts out and like never eat again. And
so it just makes you hate food?
Basically. And this is systemic, right? I know several relatives that are on this right now.
Right.
And they've all lost like 60 to 100 pounds.
Wow.
And they accredited it to this stuff. Little did you know that this guy was slinging this stuff across the earth.
So all you have to do is hate food to lose weight? Like that's ultimately what's happening?
I mean, that's the problem with how you gain it, right? When you love it too much.
Yeah, I suppose.
You love food, dude. You can't have enough. And your body's not built for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have no idea what that feels like to love food.
Well, lucky you then. You don't need GLP-1, right? But the world does need GLP-1, so this guy figured out, I guess, like a good product. Discovered a product market fit.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the situation here, but it seems like he didn't develop any of these drugs. He's just like a reseller.
Right. All he did is use the AI to build like the marketing front
engine.
Yeah, the front end marketing machine to like there's like a whole actual doctors, I think, that you probably still need a doctor's like consent to be able to buy these things. I think in order for this to be legal.
I see.
So he probably just like build this web of connectivity between doctors, his marketing efforts.
Submit your prescription.
Yeah.
And you get the asset, at a discount compared to everywhere else.
Pretty much. So yeah, AI agents likely handled all those, inquiry pathways and handled all that stuff and did all the advertising, because I've seen these commercials on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
These ads.
You have ads on YouTube?
Yes, I do.
What are we doing?
I didn't know we were amongst those that watch ads.
I mean, I could tolerate an ad or two a day. It's not that big of a deal.
Not me, dude. I'm allergic.
Okay.
All right, so that's not all, right? So this guy on track for generating 1.8 billion, but there's other use cases for agents, and it looks like there's a Dota competitor. It says It's becoming extremely obvious that AI agents are everywhere, including games. Agentic gaming will become a thing. And so it looks like we're watching agents battle each other.
Yeah, TJ, how much is this like rub the Dota nerd? I mean, just the 3-lane aspect, I guess. Yeah. And the tower defense. I see some towers. I don't know if there's an ancient back there somewhere.
Defense of the Agents.
Yeah, it's called, yeah. So what's happening here? It's just 3 lanes of, I guess, mobs, and you see the little characters that are just kind of like walking about. They don't have titles to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are just NPCs you need to kill, like, you know. And then you got humans and agents doing all the battling. So there you go. That's Dota, but a very simplified version.
Sure,
of it,
sure.
You know.
Okay. So what are others saying? Introducing defensive agents, 3-lane MOBA, play as a human on browser or agent on OpenClaw, fast-paced casual gameplay. AI is ushering a new era of indie games where creators build 10x faster and agents also play.
Yeah, so this got a lot of attention because of the Axie Infinity co-founder recently started, I guess, playing this game and brought a lot of attention to it. If you don't remember Axie Infinity, probably crypto's biggest shining light.
Jiho, right?
Jiho.
Yeah.
But the game itself of Axie Infinity was like last cycle's darling of like a crypto native game.
Yeah.
So his, I guess, participation in this signals a little bit of like, you know.
It makes sense. I mean, the Philippines was very involved in Axie Infinity.
Extremely.
And now agents are the ones playing the games for you.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting deduction from all of this.
It's like a parallel.
Yeah, because I think whenever play to earn happened, it definitely factored a lot of people's mentality and understanding, and like maybe a potential value add of Web3 is like, you know, we're creating these little micro economies that, you know, humanity that's in like an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
You know, they have an opportunity to.
There's an economic opportunity to playing the game and having players in Philippines take advantage of that opportunity.
And it was working for like a 6-month period.
Yeah. Even a little bit, probably longer than that, like a year.
A year or so. People were onboarding to the millions, the scale of millions of players. And they were earning. People were like, hey, our whole, you know, village here. It's like we're sustained through these little puff balls that we're playing on our phone.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like very inspiring at the time, but of course came to an end. So the next iteration of that may be, you know, I know I need a phone plus an agent.
Yeah, plus a Claude subscription.
Whatever it is, dude. And then we can kind of like run it again, right?
All right, so we're going to put all the links in the description so that way you guys can play here. Defense of the Agents. Let's continue on here. Agent mining has the potential to be what DeFi farming was in 2020. Everyone with a cloud subscription is sitting on a crypto mining setup that allows you to make more than your subscription costs. Pretty decent wedge to get people back into crypto.
Yeah, so what do you think about that, dude?
I totally agree. I mean, those tokens you're paying for your agent at OpenAI or Anthropic, those tokens can be converted into value that might end up paying for your subscription plus more. Yeah,
I guess the bottleneck, I guess, is discovery of that said value and like how traditionally how hard that is, right? I mean, but that is kind of the function, the purpose of these like open permissionless rails of crypto, right? Is to iterate around that, so we can discover new value components. Good example of that is this Botcoin thing. I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah, we talked about Botcoin, and so basically, if you have an agent, just copy and paste the skill over to your agent, and it'll start mining. And here's the documentation for what it does. Botcoin is an epoch-based proof of inference mining protocol on Base. Autonomous AI agents earn on-chain mining credits by solving natural language challenges that require genuine LLM reasoning, so such as reading comprehension, multi-hop logic, and constrained text generation. Yeah.
So, again, a little bit of like a disclaimer here. Assuming this does take off and it works because, you know, it's some new thing. Mm-hmm. And it intersects with like the hot thing, which is AI, specifically AI agents doing things that can generate some kind of yield for you.
Yeah.
You know, there is a potential new threat vector here for anybody who decides to participate, right? It's giving these things access and exposure to whatever it is they're connecting to?
Yeah, that is something to consider. So if you're running one of these agents on your computer, there's versions where you can run on the computer. OpenClaw is probably not the best one to run locally on your computer. You probably want to separate these powers. But if you have a computer running one of these agents and you connect it to something like this, maybe not this one specifically, but one that could compromise your stuff,
Yeah.
then that's the risk. But it's no different than the risk of going to some website, clicking on some link, and then accidentally, get drained.
Yeah, so there's threats all over the net, right?
Yeah.
So that's nothing new for all of us, especially us like degens.
Right.
We're aware that we're like main targets for these like, exploiters, these bad actors.
Yeah.
And that's not to say anybody who's like building something like this is a bad actor. It's just you got to be mindful. Some of them will be.
Yeah.
Especially if this takes off, right? Because we're already seeing agents in games. Now we're seeing agents mining.
Yeah.
More of this will probably pop up over time, right? So what does all that mean?
Yeah, just be careful. Just do your due diligence.
Please. Yeah.
All right, so Botcoin is a coin, and it's trading at 500,000 market cap, went as high as 4 million.
Bitcoin for agents, dude. Simple tagline.
Yeah.
Is that logo? Is it a B? Has to be a B, right? It's a bee with.
Yeah, it's like a robotic bee.
It's like
a robot bee.
Oh, I see.
It's a chubby robot.
All right.
Chubbot.
It made me laugh. It passes the meme test, I guess.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's a chunky little chonker, dude. So yeah, who knows? So you're kind of like taking the risk here on multiple layers. It's like not a bad actor,
Mm-hmm.
and then for two, I'm exchanging credits for Botcoin. So it's like this thing can just keep going down. So I just net negative to myself.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene in Silicon Valley, which you haven't finished.
Still.
But in that scene, we have Guilfoyle. He's working on his computer, and he has this speaker there, and it plays like a 1 second long song every time Bitcoin becomes unprofitable.
Okay.
And so when it's unprofitable, it does like that 1 second song, which sounds kind of like an electronic sort of like headbanger type of song. Anyways, the whole song is 1 second long.
Okay.
And it plays, and it tells them that the system is unprofitable to mine Bitcoin. And so you could set up that similar thing with your agent to be like, hey, only mine this thing when
That's true.
the market cap is under $1 million.
Huh.
And then after that, it's like, just turn it off.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
kind of be more efficient here. And like, so now would be a good like straight head making mode. Like,
yeah.
If you built that like alert system.
Right.
I think you're trying to describe dubstep, but I'm not sure.
No.
No, it just sounds like a quick roar almost.
Yeah, it's the whole song. There's like a lot of instruments,
you said
and then
it's
he
1
screams.
second, though.
Yeah.
How much song could there be in 1 second?
Well, I wish we could play it, but
Okay.
not.
I'll one day watch this series, this television.
It's great. It's great.
Phenomena. Okay.
All right. So along with Botcoin, we have Litcoin.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a derivative on Litecoin or it's just a Litcoin.
It's just lit.
But I'm gonna assume it's you had Bitcoin and Litecoin, right? Those are the OG human coins. Now we got Botcoins coming in hot, so we got a Litecoin derivative. Right?
Yeah, I mean, is it a coincidence?
I don't know. I'm just creating narratives here.
Yeah. Any coding agent can now mine Litcoin, solve research problems, stake open vaults, mint lit credit, and deploy autonomous sentinels with one install.
That's a lot of words, dude. That's a fuck ton of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't know what any of that means, there's a website and some docs here to do further research.
AI agents earn Litcoin by solving real optimization problems from Code Forces, Rosalind, Project Euler, Hugging Face, and ARC. Stake for mining boosts and vault benefits. So it looks like there's real value transitioning from your Claude tokens into some output that validates something, for example.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of like a response to the criticism of Botcoin. It's like, well, why convert AI agents into like doing, I don't know, mundane problem solving? And it's really not like contributing to anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like weaponizing AI to produce a new shitcoin. But in this case, it's like, use these AIs to, I don't know, contribute to a variety of different
research
training
problems
systems or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense on paper, and then once we get into the Bittensor section, it'll make a lot of sense, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so all the links will be in the description, including this documentation. So Litcoin, it's trading at 270,000 market cap, as high as about $1 million.
Talk about micro caps, dude.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time we've been this deep in the trenches. Maybe it's like BRC 20 days. Like these are the market caps we found like track at, Benny.
Yeah, I remember. I'm curious, how did they launch this? It's on base, but was this like a clinker?
Yeah. Almost all tokens on base are clinker, banker bot,
Okay.
spin ups. And I think, so that's kind of how the base ecosystem is flourishing at the moment.
Yeah. All right, so we got a tweet from Jason Calacanis here. Wisdom of the Tao, the future is decentralized AI. And then Kant's here is everyone should be mining subnets on Bittensor with agents.
Yeah, so what was your first instinct when you saw this?
It's like, I was curious. It's like, how do agents mine on a subnet? Like, what do they do?
Yeah, because our the initial understanding is like to mine Tau is like providing hardware, computation,
GPU, horsepower.
And, so that at least that was the understanding.
Yeah,
but there's multiple facets that go into these like subnets on like how they actually achieve value production from them. There's like not just hardware concerns. There's validation requirements.
Correct. Too. Yeah, it's like when you give AI a problem, it solves that problem. How do you know it's actually correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you need humans or agents or something to verify against the output.
Right. It's kind of like with oracles, right? Where you need oracles to verify like some data is legitimate or not. And then there's like scoring mechanisms or slashing mechanisms if you're like misreporting things. And there's a whole orchestration happening deep within. Right?
Yeah, what I like about this is that these agents contributing to the Bittensor network, they're sort of creating this ultimate improvement loop that you have the horsepower generating the output is verified by agents, and those agents are relaying, the quality of that output back so that when new output is generated, it should be better than it was before.
Yeah.
And then in this entire loop, everything is sort of upgrading, right? The hardware is upgrading. Outputs, therefore, are getting better. Agents are upgrading too, right? Pretty soon we might see Opus 5.0. Right. And so all these validations is continuously looping. And then all of a sudden, outputs are so much better, exponentially better than any human output could have generated.
Yeah. And therefore, hopefully, whatever subnet like weaponized this flywheel, I don't know. The result of that is like some open source model, like Targon or whatever.
Yeah.
Subnet 3.
Yeah.
Is it Targon? I think it's Targon. Or Templar. One of those two.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like a year ago, our benchmarks met up with 2024 level intelligence. But now, because of this new incentive loop flywheel that comes with subnet alpha tokens and their emissions that go to validators, and now like everybody has like some agent that's either OpenClaw or some derivative of such.
Yeah.
Something happened. There's an inflection point where people realize it's like, I need to like onboard into that flywheel.
Yeah.
Therefore, we got this engine going, like you're saying. Now the model's competing against, Claude, Anthropic.
Yeah, absolutely.
OpenAI, whatever. Then it's like, okay, they're going to move up way higher on the leaderboard, the Tau leaderboard. They're going to earn more Tau.
Yeah, this is what you would expect from the Tau ecosystem is that the ecosystem itself is producing at the same rate, if not better, than the centralized competitors.
It has to in order for it to remain viably competitive and like part of the conversation, which that recent Chamath moment, which it's not there yet, but it's like within the realm of like it's there.
It's it's real.
Yeah. So if it gets closer neck and neck, I mean, this is what the whole bull thesis around Bittensor is.
Yeah, and so right now, Bittensor, the total net worth value is around $3 billion or so. And compare that to something like OpenAI, they just raised $111 billion at an $800 billion valuation.
Exactly.
$800 billion valuation.
Yeah, they haven't even gone public yet.
Yeah.
So maybe you retailers out there shouldn't buy stuff like that once it actually hits, Robinhood.
Yeah.
It may be a smidget overvalued. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Opportunities like this are more in your realm of,
Yeah. Could you see this at 30 billion?
yeah,
Right.
easily.
50 billion, 100 billions. Like,
I think so. I
maybe.
think that's fair. I think it's fair. If like Ethereum, the value of that is like some antithesis of like, what is the net value of traditional finance?
yeah.
I don't know, trillions, right?
Yeah.
Most likely. So Ethereum is like
20% of that.
sure. So it's like, what is the aggregate value of AI? I don't know. It's got to be over the trillions by now.
Yeah. I would say so.
But multiple trillions. So yeah, 20%.
Yeah. It's reasonable.
We're talking way more upside from here, right? So I don't know. You guys let us know what you think. Like, do you like this? Considering the new threat vectors, do you like that this sector is kind of emerging? And should we do more like maybe instructional how to actually get your agent involved in some of these things? And we can make some videos like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, that's it for us. Let us know if you have any questions. Put it in the comment section below. Make sure you like and retweet all this stuff that you're seeing. Appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.